What happens when a hunter becomes the hunted? Mitch Jones lived it. A black bear attack that changes everything you think you know about the backcountry. Then Ricky from Browning gives us a first look at the all-new Browning X-Bolt 2. The rock star Kate Rundle returns with her wild finds. And then Kyle Stelter from the Wild Sheep Society of BC joins me once again to talk conservation, mountain grit, and the future of wild sheep in BC. This is Wild Talk. No filters, just true conversation. I'm your host, Steve Hamilton, and you are watching Wild Talk. This episode of Wild Talk is brought to you by Hornady. Accurate, deadly, dependable. Bronc Beer. Great fucking beer. Umarex Air Guns. Hunt with air. And these fine sponsors. All right, everybody, we're back with an exciting episode of Wild Talk. Bear season's in full swing by the time this is airing. Bear season's going when I'm recording this. Saw a story the other day on Facebook that kind of threw the hair on the back of my neck up a little bit. And I happened to know the guy. So I reached out and I said, hey, let's have a chat. And here we are. So we're talking bear attacks. And this is one that's going to kind of throw you for a little bit of a loop because you always think bear attacks means grizzly bear. But no, this one is a black bear attack. So I'm going to dive right into it. I'm going to introduce Mitch Jones. Mitch, you're in Alberta right now. So a huge thanks for joining me today and making time for me.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I saw the post on social media by your wife and I immediately reached out. So let's kind of set the stage for what happened. What brought you out into the woods that day?
So me and my friend were heading out for a bear hunt. He's relatively new to hunting. He's been hunting with me for the last year. So got him out quite a bit, got him his first moose in the fall. And I was trying to get him his first bear this spring. So we went out about, he picked me up about midday. We were taking his vehicle this time, so he picked me up in his little Ford Escape. I got hunting dogs, so I normally bring the dogs with me. So because we had the Escape, we decided only to bring two of the dogs, and we left one at home. So I grabbed my two best dogs, my Laika, West Siberian Laika, and Karelian Bear dog. We headed out just outside of Terrace. I live in Kitimat, but just outside of Terrace, we were hunting. We headed out down the West Calum Forest Service Road.
Okay, yeah.
And we headed out, hunted till about maybe 4. We seen our first bear, good sized boar. Coming around the corner, we dumped the dogs out on that. These dogs hunt a little different than hounds, so we do a lot of hiking trails and stuff, and the dogs just go out, kind of hunt on their own, and we don't have too much road access, so it's not like hound hunting where you're following the dogs forever. We ran this one bear, headed up the hillside, got into some thick, steep country, and we ended up calling them back because we were going into no man's land. So we called the dogs back, loaded back up in the Escape, and continued up the road, watered the dogs a bit to let them cool off. About 45 minutes later, we came around the bend, and I was just saying to my friend, this is a good spot. I usually see a good bear here this early in the season. And sure enough, we come around the bend, and standing on the hillside, wide open clear cut, there was a pretty good sized boar. He wasn't being too picky, being his first bear. So I said, that looks like a decent one to me. Shoot that one. And so we debated if we were going to throw the dogs out, but because he was in the middle of the clear cut, I said, you might as well, like he wasn't going anywhere. So I said, might as well just take a crack at him. So the bear he noticed we were there, turned around, kind of started heading back up the hillside. He wasn't going anywhere fast, so we knew we had some time. He lined up, couldn't get a shot right away. So he kind of went up a little rise, disappeared into a little gully. So we moved up the road a little bit and got a more clear shot. He set up again. The bear was just feeding normally. He was lined up, had a good shot, or what we thought was a good shot. Took the first shot. I was watching through the binos, hit him, looked like it was a good hit. Bear kind of stumbled, moved up the hill a bit. He hit him a second time, started doing the cartwheels
Mm-hmm.
as they do when they're hit, and then kind of went up another little rise and disappeared. So I said to him, those both look like good hits. I'm pretty sure he went down right there because we seen him hit the ground. So we kind of took our time, got our gear, got our packs, and we were totally expecting to walk up there and to a dead bear.
Oh, perfect. So let's continue this after the commercial.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more Wild Talk. And we're back. This is Wild Talk. I'm joined by Mitch Jones. We're talking not only black bear hunting, but black bear attacks. Mitch, not even, was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, just over a week now.
Just over a week at the time of recording, Mitch was face to face with a black bear, did some damage, and that's what we're talking about now. So he's kind of set the stage for where we're going with this, but I want to dial it back a little bit, Mitch. You've told a great story so far, but let's talk about the day leading up. You mentioned that he'd never got a black bear before. Had you guys ever gone out before for black bears?
Yeah, we had been out a little bit the previous year. My schedule was pretty tight last year, so I never got out with them as much. This was like our first real time out together this spring. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah.
So is the new hunter?
Yeah, pretty new. This is second year hunting, so
Oh man.
yeah.
So he literally drove right into it with you as we continue this story.
Yeah.
That wow, that's crazy. A new hunter gets to take part in essentially what is life changing.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the day leading up to it. You mentioned that you'd only seen the one bear. Had you seen anything else? Were there any weird feelings going through there, or is it just like a normal day
It
for
was a
you?
totally normal day. Um, the funny thing was, we were talking about hunting with the dogs as we were driving, and we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about rifle selection, and we were talking about how he's seen on, I guess, some hound guys he follows on on the internet there. How some guys use smaller calibers to shoot bears and lions in trees and let them die in the tree before they hit the ground. And then he was asking me where I like to shoot them, and we were talking about the smaller calibers. I'm like, yeah, the smaller calibers fine until you walk into the bush and you're in a bay up or whatever, or you get into a tight situation, and then that smaller caliber is not going to help you too much. So we talked about that, and I'm shooting a 180 grain bullet, so not the biggest caliber. I would like to have something a little bigger actually for walking into bay ups with the dogs, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what I had, so that's what I was using at the time. He was packing his 308 as well. So yeah, that's what we were discussing, and I said hopefully we never get into that situation, but it'd be nice to have something a little heavier.
Yeah, kind of prophetic, eh?
Yeah,
Like you're talking about what could go wrong, does go wrong, and hours later it kind of does go
yeah,
sideways on you. Like the 308 is more than capable of taking down bears.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
People do it every year. A good buddy of mine's taken down half a dozen with a 308.
Yeah,
But I feel you when you're in those woods and you're kind of looking around, and it's, man, I wish I had something a little bit bigger. So I carry a 338 Win Mag,
yeah,
225 grain pills, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough, even though I know it is. But when Grizzly was open, I took down a Grizzly with it, and I know the kind of lead, copper, whatever you choose, those things can suck up, and I
yeah,
can only imagine what it's like facing one in a real life or death situation like you just went through. So before we throw to commercial, tell me a little bit about the dogs. Like, how many bears have they ever put up?
So I have 3 dogs. I have my Carillion, which is first dog I ever bought. Carillion bear dog, originated out of Finland, used for hunting brown bears. He's probably my best dog, definitely the smartest. I have one West Siberian Laika, which comes out of Siberia, also used for hunting moose and brown bear. And then I do have one hound, black and tan coon hound, but she stayed home that day. So the dogs, they're not like a hound. They hunt differently. So I do a lot of hiking with them, and we got the Garmin tracking collars, and
Awesome. So dogs have got experience. You've got
yeah.
experience. I want to hear more after the break with Wild Talk. And we're back with another segment of Tools of the Trade on Wild Talk. This time we're talking firearms, one of our favorite things to talk about on this show. And joining me once again is Ricky from Browning. Ricky, a huge welcome back to the show.
Hey, Steve, it's good to be back. It's good to see you, man.
Oh, last time we chatted, learned a ton about the Ranger. Now I know you've got something sitting on your desk in front of me that grabbed me right away. It's what we're here to talk about. It's one of my favorite firearms in the Browning line. It's the X-Bolt 2. So let's see that bad boy before we dig too much into it.
Sounds good, Steve. Before I show you the bad boy, a little bit of history. The X-Bolt, original X-Bolt, yeah, got to keep you waiting. Was first was released in 2008. So we're talking 17 years ago. The X-Bolt 2 started rolling into Canada last year in low numbers. So we're talking 16 years of X-Bolt, and now it's time for the X-Bolt 2.
Oh, I told you before we got going. Oh, man, that is such a good-looking rifle.
It is, this is our speed rifle, so it's got our Browning Ovix camo on it. So if we start at the back here, Steve, it still comes with the Inflex recoil pad, which we've done, for over a decade. Reduces the felt recoil. One of many new adjustable features. So we got an adjustable comb here, so you can raise and lower it to match the shooter. Simple little tool that goes in the buttstock there. Give it a couple turns, raise it, lower it to where you need it, and then lock it down. Going a little bit further, we've got a grip here. So this is the grip that comes on the rifle because it's the speed. In our long range series of rifles, this grip will come on it. So it's a little bit thicker, a little bit straighter, but all of the X-Bolt 2s will come with both of these, as long as it is a synthetic stock X-Bolt 2. Wood ones are a different beast.
Right. So what sets the X-Bolt 2 apart from the X-Bolt original?
The X-Bolt didn't have any of this adjustability. It was just your basic synthetic stock, no adjustable comb, just whatever the grip shape was on the stock, that was it. So yeah, Steve, the adjustability on the X-Bolt 2, it's a lot different than the X-Bolt. So in here, we've actually got some spacers that are in there, so you can also adjust the length of pull in 1/4 inch increments. So there's 4 of these that come with it. 2 are installed and 2 are in the box, so that's another piece of adjustability. Some minor changes to the receiver and bolt to make it a little bit smoother. It's already silky smooth, but if we can make some incremental improvements, why not, right?
Right.
Other new thing is it's got a new trigger.
Okay.
So still user adjustable. However, this one has 0 take up and 0 creep. So for those of you that know what that means, or don't know what that means, basically when you're holding the trigger, as you start to squeeze it, you'll get that little bit of movement before the trigger breaks. That would be the take up. And then the creep would be after the trigger breaks, the trigger continues to move. So with the new X-Bolt 2 trigger, it's just that crisp click, done.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely exciting. Shot these last year, and I definitely noticed the difference. This one does come with our standard X-Bolt magazine. So if you have an X-Bolt 1 in a 308, you buy an X-Bolt 2 and a 308, it is still the same magazines.
Right.
However, our long-range X-Bolt 2s have a different straight stack magazine. So as far as the features of just the X-Bolt 2 versus the X-Bolt, that's kind of what you're looking at. A few years ago, we started doing carbon fiber stocks on some of our rifles. So we're still doing that, but we're also doing carbon fiber barrels now on some of our rifles. So this would be the X-Bolt 2 Speed carbon fiber barrel. So we use preferred barrels out of Utah. Aaron, our project manager, has tested every barrel manufacturer under the sun, and he ultimately went with preferred. He was getting the same performance that he saw out of barrels that were, a lot more money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially the center of the barrel is a smaller steel barrel, and it is wrapped in carbon fiber. Advantages, obviously, you're from BC. One big advantage, Steve, would be, you tell me.
The weathering. I've got a carbon fiber barrel on one of my rifles. It's so much easier to deal with. Wipe it down and it's good.
For sure. In some cases, depending on the rifle, weight reduction also could happen. And it does dissipate heat more efficiently than a steel barrel would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so all positive things. And we're offering it in this version, which is your standard 22 to 26 inch barrel, depending on the caliber. We also do it in what is aptly named suppressor ready. We are a US based company.
Right.
Those would be 18 to 22 inch barrels, so significantly shorter, reducing the weight. We do it in a pro, so that would be carbon fiber stock, carbon fiber barrel, same 2 barrel length options. So now we're talking like 6-pound rifles, caliber choices. This one's in a 6.8 Western, available in all the usual suspects, the classic calibers. We do the 300 PRC, the 7 PRC, and the 6.5 PRC, as well.
Bit of everything there, eh?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. And I don't know if it's just as I get a little bit older, Steve. I'm just not a fan of big recoil anymore. A few years ago, we came out with the Recoil Hog muzzle brake. It looks pretty cool, but it definitely is functional. So we're talking like a 75-76% felt recoil reduction, right?
Oh.
So, you got a 300 PRC and you got this on here. It's much more palatable for sure.
Oh man, there's so many great things that we could talk about all day on this rifle, but they're in stores now. A huge thanks for joining me, Ricky. I cannot wait to get my hands on one of these.
Sounds good, Steve. Great to see you.
We're talking black bear hunting and black bear attack here on Wild Talk. Mitch Jones has been painting one heck of a scene of a black bear attack that he was just involved in not too long ago. So Mitch, let's talk about the bear itself. You guys were out hunting. You had a new hunter with you for, you said a second year first bear hunt. So let's paint the picture for our audience, our listeners, our viewers, and tell us about the bear itself.
Okay, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we had just finished chasing a bear with the dogs. Had a good chase. Ended up having to call the dogs back because we were heading way up a mountainside into no man's land there. So we got back to the escape, headed up the road. We were just getting to a good section where I finished telling my friend there we've seen some good bears before. Nice open clear cut, kind of on a hillside, lake down in the bottom there. So as we come around the bend, just come around the corner, and sure enough, maybe 100 yards on the hillside, there's a bear standing there. Right away, I could tell mature boar. What wasn't huge, but a good sized bear. And he said, "Are we going to throw the dogs out?" And the bear was quiet, feeding quietly on the hillside. I said, "No, just line up, get a good shot on that bear." So he got out, he got set up, lined up on the bear, tried to get a shot. The bear kind of knew we were there. He looked up at us, and then he did turn around and started heading up the hillside more. kind of went behind a little tree, disappeared. But then he turned around, he came back to double check to see what we were. He wasn't going anywhere quick. He continued up the hillside. We lost him over a little rise, so we moved up the road a little bit. I knew there was another little side road going up, so we moved up, and sure enough, we had a wide open shot at him. Now he's maybe 200 yards feeding on the hillside. He's maybe 50 yards from the tree line. My friend lined up again, had all the time in the world, was lined up good, waited for a broadside. I was watching through the binoculars, hit the bear, looked like a good hit. I thought it was a good hit. He thought it was a good hit. The bear bucked, do what they do, did a cartwheel. He managed to get another round in, shot again, looked like another good hit. Now the bear's doing somersaults, and he went up another little hill, a little dip, and disappeared. We were 100% sure, well, at the time, that he was just down over that little hill. Like, we thought we seen him go down. So we, at that point, we kind of high-fived a little bit prematurely, and got the packs ready. And we were totally expecting to head up there to cut up a bear. It was about 6. Now it's about 6:30 in the evening. Perfect time, enough daylight to deal with it and back it off the hillside. So,
man, so the bear is down. Well, you think the bear is down, and as anybody watching this that's ever hunted bears, most of you should know that, or if you experienced it more than once, that bears can be very, very tough. They can suck up a lot of lead, and it's very rarely where you think they actually have expired, right? So, wow, I can only imagine that. He thinks he's got his first bear down, and it's just, I can't wait to get into the other side of this story here. So I don't want to jump too far ahead, but we might as well just throw it to commercial right here, and we're about to hear what happens next. Stay tuned. We got more Wild Talk coming up next.
Stream past episodes of Wild Talk at wildtvplus.ca.
Hello, everyone. Kate Rundle here, and thanks for joining us on Wild Talk. If you're all new to the show, this segment is called Kate's Wild Finds, where we pull crazy videos from the internet and show them to you, our friends. Today's themes: bears, lots of bears, from cute cuddly cubs to some too close for comfort interactions. We've got clips. Let's roll them in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Right, you, come on. Right, come on, the whole lot of you. Stephen McClatchy Wilson, right across this road. The rest of you, follow me. Come on. Jeanette, Sean, Stephen, William, come on. Cross the road. The whole lot of you, get moving. I'm going to climb this tree. Mammy, where are you going? Mammy, where are you? Stephen's going up the tree, Mammy. Where's my mammy going? I'm just going to go up this tree. I love trees. Where's my mammy going? Stephen, what have I told you? Get off that tree. Come here, you. Get down whatever you've been told, don't you? Get down right now. Get down. Mammy, I'm back. Oh, Jesus Christ, I've not got a minute to myself. You, come here. Mammy, oh, that's my ear, Mammy. Mammy, that's, can I go back? No, you, Mammy, come here. Honest to God, there's motors coming. Where's your dad? See, when I get him, I'm going to put my toe up the crack of his arse as well. Right, come here, the two of you. There's going to be motors coming, they're going to squash you. Right, you, follow me now. But Mammy, what's happening now?
Hey. Back up, buddy. Get out of here. Get out of here, bear.
Get out of it. Good bear.
I heard something. It's Big Bear.
Big Bear.
Cute guy.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy. Wow, is it warm?
I don't know. I don't think it's that warm.
You're gonna go for a swim or what?
Oh,
Yeah.
there he goes.
Wow. Full swim. The little hand.
Mm-hmm. Time to get out.
This is one of my absolute favorite things to do as the host of Wild Talk. These segments here are kind of special to me because they're called the Outdoor Lens, and this is where I get to showcase direct on the ground where your money goes as a conservationist when you give those dollars to these organizations, these nonprofits that do all the vital work around the world. And we've got a no stranger to the show here, Kyle Stelter, CEO of the Wild Sheep Society of BC. He's been here a bunch of times if you watched the show enough. So again, Kyle, thanks for joining me today.
Awesome to be here, and even better to be on an award-winning podcast. It's awesome, buddy. Congratulations.
Hey, I can say I cut my teeth alongside you all those years ago when you and I had that little dream of, hey, let's start our own. And what are you at now? 250 episodes now?
Yeah, it's getting up there. It's there's been a few over the years, that's for sure. So it's awesome.
It's to the moon, as they say, right? And it's just it's incredible to watch the growth. So yeah, let's dig into it. You and I can talk like this for hours, but that's not why we're here. So you're the CEO of the Wild Sheep Society. You've been involved for a heck of a long time. But for those people that don't know what the Wild Sheep Society BC is, walk us through it.
Well, the big thing that we do is we look after British Columbia's wild sheep and their habitat. That's our mission, and that's what we focus on day in and day out. And interesting, how many species-specific organizations out there are in the province. Not a lot, right?
No.
Which is great for the resource, but it's also a challenge because people are like, well, I'm not a sheep hunter. Why would I support you guys? And man, we do have a lot of non-sheep hunters, non-hunters that support us because they believe in our mission. And Steve, you and I talk about this all the time. If you're helping a keystone species like wild sheep, you're helping badgers, you're helping rattlesnakes, you're having bats. The list goes on and on and on. Something that we're proud of. And yeah, we look after BC's wild sheep, but we look after a lot of other species along the way.
You sure do. And I've been on a couple of sheep hunts. Saw sheep, so I guess that would consider me a sheep hunter. Had a sheep tag.
Hunter, buddy.
I had a sheep tag. But there's just something that sets the Sheep Society of BC apart. Don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the passion. I don't know if it's the full transparency of where your dollars go. It's the on-the-ground projects. There's just so much that encompasses what the society does. I was just cruising Facebook the other day. Well, earlier today. God, everything is blending into one. And I scrolling and I went, whoa, they just did another boots on the ground project. Skooks Landing. Talk about that.
Yeah, so Skooks Landing, obviously, it's access to the rivers for northern British Columbia. If you want to go sheep hunting, that's where you're going to get on the river at. And so we've partnered with a bunch of organizations. It's been led by the Northeast BC Wildlife Fund, and they've done a great job of bringing a bunch of us together to basically rehab that boat launch. And if you're going north on the on the river system and you're going to do some sheep hunting or moose or any other species really for that matter, you're getting on the river there. So, we listen to our membership, and this is a way to unite sportsmen, do something for local communities. Our northern dollars that we're raising in northern British Columbia are staying there. And it's something we all use quite often and benefiting sportsmen and sportswomen and ultimately the resource. So very cool project. I think we contributed $45,000 to that project, and one of the bigger funders for that, and just great work for conservation.
But again, doesn't directly affect sheep. It affects other species there, as you mentioned. So it's just a big picture approach with the organization. I absolutely love that. So you've got hunters, biologists, everyday people involved. How do you bring all these voices together for a common cause?
I think, we're very heavily mission driven. We're transparent about where our money goes. One thing I'm particularly proud about from our membership, Steve, and you're a dedicated Monarch member. I know your listeners know that very well because I bring it up every time I'm on the podcast. But, we invested close to $700,000 in our very own money, Wild Sheep BC membership dollars. And we have a small footprint. We only have 1,600 members. But you do the math on that. That's about $425 per member that's going on the ground for wild sheep conservation. A membership's $55, $60, depending on which one you want to pick up for a year. And to do that have that impact on the resource and put that money on the ground, that speaks volume to the dedication, support, commitment of our members. And you get to brag that you're a member of the society. Hey, I put the equivalent of $425 on the ground for wild sheep myself, although some people are doing more than that than others, obviously.
So somebody wants to get involved and put that money on the ground with their membership dollars. Where do they do it and how?
Get over to wildsheepsociety.com. Check it out. Check out Talk is Sheep. That's our podcast as well. Shameless plug. I apologize for that.
You're welcome to it.
But really, we'd love to have you support us. Really what it does, we sit on the provincial hunting trapping advisory team. We're in constant discussions with government, and really getting our membership behind us and having those numbers is really impactful to make a difference for wild sheep conservation, the greater wildlife populations, and hunter-driven issues that we need to look out for, like making sure we have the opportunity to still be on the landscape and harvesting wild sheep as well. So,
Kyle, thanks again for joining me today. I could talk with you for hours, and we've done it. So we'll do it again. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Stream past episodes of Wild Talk at wildtvplus.ca.
We're talking bear hunting. We're talking black bear attacks. It's time to get right into it, Mitch. Your buddy and you think that bear is down. Tell us what happened from there.
Okay, so we grabbed our packs, headed up the hillside, and got to where we thought we seen the bear go down. Couldn't find him. The dogs, at this point, we let the dogs out. They took off, and we could hear them barking. So I figured it was just they were at the bear. They barked once or twice and stopped barking. I figured they were just at the dead bear. So we headed up to where they were at. There was no bear there. And we seen the dogs continued into the thickest, darkest woods that you can imagine.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And they were barking sporadically and they were moving. So I kind of had a feeling that maybe he wasn't dead in there. I was hoping we were going to find him just inside the trees, but I kind of had a feeling in my gut that maybe he wasn't down. So we good blood trail, lots of blood, which everybody knows bears sometimes they don't leave the best blood trail. So we were hopeful that gave us a little bit of confidence. But the dogs, seeing the dogs on the GPS moving through the timber, still barking, was making me wonder if the bear was still moving. So we get into the woods, we push in maybe 50, 75 yards, real thick, tight jack pine, lots of lots of low shrubs, so visibility was really low. Push in a little more, and I see my Leica barking, and I'm trying to look to see if I can see the bear down, and then I see the bear sitting on its hind end, fully alive, and not too happy. And then my Carillion joins in, and they're running around the bear. I yelled to my buddy, he's still alive. If you can get a clear shot, take him. I wanted to let him shoot the bear.
Mhm.
At this point, we're at a far enough distance where we felt safe. But I said, if you get a clear shot, shoot the bear. Just don't hit the dogs. Don't shoot the dogs, whatever you do. The dogs keep harassing the bear. It moves in a little further. I turned around and said to him, maybe we should back out, call the dogs back, and let this bear expire before it come back later and see if we can find him. And then we kind of talked it up over. And then I said, I'm just going to push a little bit more and see. I said, if I see the bear, if I get a shot, I'm going to take the bear. He said, okay, yeah, no problem. So we push in a little more. Dogs are still going, and the bear's sitting down again. So at this point, I lined up. I took a shot, hit the bear. I'm not 100% sure where I hit him. He started pushing, or he came towards us. At this point, he's, I don't know, under 25 yards. He's seen me, made a beeline for me, charged at me. I worked the lever on the gun, shot him at maybe 10 feet. Wasn't enough to stop him at that point. He balled me, like ran me over, knocked me right down on my back. I had my pack on, flailed the rifle, and landed on my back. So you can imagine the chaos that's going on. Dogs are running around, shots going off. My friend couldn't shoot because the dogs and I'm in the way now. I'm on my back, and my first instinct was to throw I was kind of on my left side, so my first instinct was to throw my right hand up to protect the face. The bear, at that point, he stood on my left rib cage with one paw.
Oof.
And I remember feeling the claws poking into my skin. They left marks, they left scratches, but like little scabs, but it wasn't, they didn't puncture. And at that point, the bear latched onto my right wrist.
Oh, that's a perfect way to end it right there for commercial. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Wild Talk. We're finishing up this segment of Wild Talk. I'm going to jump right into it. Black bear attack. Mitch, continue where you're at. The bear's got you down. Your arm's in its mouth.
Okay. So yeah, the bear, I'm on my back. The bear grabs onto my right wrist, and I had my Garmin Instinct watch on there. So I remember him grabbing on, and I remember that watch, the snapping of the strap, snap the strap right off. I remember my watch going flying. I can remember everything pretty vividly at this point. I remember his mouth going around. I remember feeling the bones break and hearing the crack and the pop. But the odd thing was at this point, I felt no pain whatsoever. The adrenaline was so high and everything's so vivid but I remember the bones cracking, and I remember him shaking. And at that point, the dogs jumped. One of my Leica Savage, he's a little wild. He jumped on my Carillion was barking. The Leica jumped on the bear's back and started biting the bear.
Wow.
And thank God that was enough to make him let go of me and went after the Leica. At this point, I jumped up. I remember looking down at my arm, seeing the blood. I could see chunks of cartilage and bone on my wrist, on my arm. I remember seeing the blood start running. I picked up my rifle and, given it's a lever action, I'm right-handed.
Oh, no.
I had to work the action with the right hand.
Yeah.
The bear turned around, seen that I was up, turned around, made another go at me. My friend got a shot in, or I got one more shot in, and then he got a shot. The bear was just about to hit me again, and I thought to myself, "Oh God, here we go again." He hit him a third time, and then that was enough to turn him around, literally at like 5 feet, and he started running directly away from me. And at that point, I threw the rifle up, give it the good old Texas heart shot, and that was enough.
Wow.
Enough to put the bear down. So,
wow, just what can you say to that, right? Like anybody watching this is going to be doing the same thing. Like that's how fast it can happen, and bears are tough, and this shows it. But you're tough as hell too. So, I saw a picture on your wife's social media, and you got this grin on your face, and you're holding your arm up, and your hand looks dead, and man. So talk a little bit about the injuries.
Okay. So yeah, I looked down and I had a good size puncture, multiple punctures on the wrist, good size laceration on the top side, laceration underneath. And it was so close to the radial artery there that that was my main worry, was bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
The blood wasn't spurting, but it was leaking pretty good. So at that point, and you could see bone and cartilage and bits up further up my arm. I didn't know if I was hurt anywhere else at that time, but that was my main focus. We obviously confirmed the bear was down, ripped my belt off, wrapped it around my arm, pulled it tight to stop the bleeding. My friend then got to his pack. We had a tourniquet in there, some quick clot, some gauze. He has a little bit of a medical background. He's a volunteer firefighter. I got a little bit of a medical background too. I'm a licensed DMR in British Columbia. Mm-hmm. So we knew just stop the bleeding and reassess the situation from there. So we threw the tourniquet on, cranked that down tight, kind of once over, look for any more injuries. And then we debated hitting the in reach and hitting the SOS button on the in reach, but we figured that by time we responded and by typing and
just get your ass to the hospital.
Yeah, we figured we better just beeline it to the hospital. So
what were your injuries as we wrap this up?
My injuries were, it was a fracture. It fractured the radius bone right at the wrist, kind of long ways. And then it fractured fractured the ulna, the head of the ulna right off, right at the wrist. So
wow,
thank God it missed all tendons, missed the radial artery. And so far nerves seem to be good. So
wow, you're a lucky man, Mitch.
Yeah.
Huge thanks for joining me today and telling your story. I'm going to be obviously following the recovery. And are you going to get back out there for bear?
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've been itching to get out since it happened. So
awesome. Mitch, heal quick. And thanks again for joining me.
Thank you.
This episode of Wild Talk is brought to you by Hornady. Accurate, deadly, dependable. Bronc Beer. Great fucking beer. Boomerex Air Guns. Hunt with air. And these fine sponsors.